And good morning, guys. Will here again. So, want to talk with you about citizenship of the United States and how we possibly fall under another country. I've heard this discussed several times. Um, how citizens are not free citizens, and it's always been kind of convoluted and complex, and I probably misunderstood it quite a bit. Well, I saw this video, and this video is the Queen of England and Black Nobility Exposed. This is into my lines of looking at the Black Nobility of the Merovingians. And he talks about California and the franchise tax of California. It's quite interesting. Let's see what we can find out. Okay, guys, so he's talking about the California Franchise Tax Board. Um, doing some research here very simply, it's kind of very bizarre. It says it collects state personal income taxes and bank and corporation taxes for the state of California. Franchise Tax Board. It exists, so that's one link to what he's saying. Possibly need some extra research into this to see if this to see how this franchise tax board is related. Okay, so let's continue. He talked about application of maritime admiralty laws, and I found this about it, and it was really interesting. It says that any citizen of the United States Corporation, which was established in 1860 under international maritime law, is an employee of that corporation. Um, it also goes on to say it's just like all citizens considered the same situation aboard a vessel. In effect, the U.S. owns you, just as a ship's captain has control of the lives of all on board his ship and can choose to grant them liberty or not. Guys, this is AbundantHope.net, True U.S. History by Jordan Maxwell. I thought it was really, really interesting. Uh, just very, very on point with what this gentleman is saying. So I'm wondering if there's more to more to research and verify and check there. Continuing. He just said all capitalization is a corporation. I've never heard that. All capitalized name is corporation. Well, I mean, and it seemed to that requires all capitals for corporations, artificial persons. So this is called naturalperson.ca. This is California. Nonprofit site educating Canadians and Americans difference between human beings, natural persons, and artificial persons. I had never. I mean, yeah, right. This is the argument, but I had never heard it. Uh, there been an issue of capitalization and capitalizing the name, right? Okay. The only reference to the use of all capital letters there is personal names uh, are to have only the first letter capitalized, which we have known since birth. And why do all capital names exist in our government associated documents? Um, uh, a good presumption since the government. Okay, a book has been prepared in cooperation with the Canadian government to define writing styles to be used in Canadian English, as well as lawyers. So we can assume that American is pretty similar. The government was involved in the preparation of the book. The conclusion is that the government has an undocumented system of nomenclature that requires all capitals for corporations and artificial persons so they can distinguish them from natural persons. Memorandum of the Law of the Name created for the United States. Thus it is, folks. Comment from DTEX Canada from the Oregon Rules of Court. Thus it is, folks. The all caps spelling of your straw man birth certificate name indicates a debtor, one responsible for the debt of the corporation called the United States or Canada. You, by accepting your birth certificate name as your own, have the false status of disobedient slave imposed on you, so that the banksters of the Vaticans can steal your lifetime labor without any rules, obligating the observance of unalienable rights. Check the name on your bank account, credit cards, licenses, government correspondence to see how they spell the birth certificate name. I don't know what that means, but here's the different types, or the different spellings, the different ways that you would spell your name. I would hope mine is spelled all small caps or first name capitalized, first letter capitalized. Well, this is the way military is spelled, nom de guerre. Last comma first, all caps, and that is no rights and freedoms, as is the complete slave to the admiral. So what is this natural memorandum of the law of the name? It's basically saying all caps is not conventional, and U.S. government style manual. Proper names are capitalized. John Macadam, so first letter, first letter. Court work has a different rule of capitalization. Okay, NASA has published one most concise U.S. government rule. It comes back to NASA, doesn't it always? On capitalization. Handbook for technical writers and editors. Uh, Capitalization, introduction. First, we should define terms when using capitalization. All caps means that every letter in an expression is capital, like this. Caps and LC means the principal words of an expression are capitalized, like this. Uh, Caps and small letters refers to a particular font type containing small capital letters instead of lowercase letters. All caps is allowable in an acronym. The states are never to be spelled in all caps. I'm going to search this for corporation. Woo! Did you see that? Okay. The legalities of all capital names. See, the search feature is so useful, right? I was just... Fabricated legal persons, such as State of Texas, can be used to fabricate additional legal persons. Fictions arise from the law, not the laws from fictions. Bastard legal names originate from any judicial government actor that wishes to create them, regardless how she empowered by law to do so. See, it's basically saying right there, fabricated legal persons, can be used to fabricate additional legal persons. It's a fraud in and of itself. It sounds like the present situation in America. A legal person equals a legal fiction. One of the terms used predominantly by the present civil governments and courts is that America is a legal person. Just what is a legal person? A person or bodies, a body of persons or an entity considered as having many of the rights and responsibilities of a natural person, especially the capacity to be sued. Corporation incorporated under law. Okay. Using the juristic artifice of presumption or assumption, implied contract, constructive trusts, another entirely separate entity can be created using the names of a bona fide corporate legal fact by altering the names of the corporation into some other corrupted format, such as all capital letters or abbreviated words in the name. The corporation exists in law, but has arbitrarily been assigned another name. No such corporation, legal fact, nor any valid law, no such corporation, nor any valid law, nor even a valid legal fiction can be created under the law of necessity. Likewise, the arbitrary use of the legal fiction artifice of right of presumption can be legitimately exercised under no law. Anything whatsoever done under alleged authority of naked criminal aggression can be rendered legitimate. Anything done whatsoever under alleged authority of naked criminal aggression, law of necessity, can be rendered legitimate. Law of necessity, just when they say necessity has no law and in time of war. Okay, read this. And this is talking about creating this fake name, right? Just all caps, and it's a perversion of it. A person created under de jure law, with the person's identifying name appearing as prescribed by law and according to the rules of English grammar, is a legal fact. Okay? A corrupted alter ego version of that name, manufactured under the legal fiction of right of presumption, will have credibility only so long as the presumption remains unchallenged. The rule of the world is that anything and everything skates unless you bust it. So this is saying the presumption that you are part of this corporation, that you in all caps of your name in all caps is your alter ego of this entity under this corporation. And it hasn't been challenged. And that is why you are having to pay all these taxes to these corporations. So it's very interesting. Very interesting. It's only credible until it remains unchallenged. So all you have to do is challenge that. Challenge that you're not a part of the corporation. I don't know who to challenge this with or how to challenge it. But these are the questions and these are the topics. These are the questions that needs answered and these are the topics that need research. That's just that. So he's definitely giving some good information that I can back up with seemingly other good information. Now, granted, I've only looked at and verified one website of information for each one. Could be fake. You really need to do your due diligence and look at it more. I'm not going through everything and doing full due diligence for this video. It would take too long. Let's continue. Is the court a British Masonic system? I'll Google that right here. Is the court system a Masonic system? Who cares if it's British, right? Well, now he said in there in his speech, talking about the Cortes system or something like that. So we want to look at the Masonic bodies and see if weird. 13 jesters, right? Yearly to the Royal Court of Jesters. I don't really see anything here in this Masonic bodies. Courts. Now let's look at the Masonic judicial system. Not reading all that. So, anyways, I definitely like to research if the court system is a Masonic system. I'd never heard that before. It's called the court system in Freemasonry. It may give some clues, it may not. Interesting. I like that structure, Freemasonry. It's nice. Very nice. Oh, look at this. Boy, I love this stuff. This is saying, look, you have to go through a craft lodge. Okay, that's a blue lodge. And then you get to choose either the York Rite or Scottish Rite. I knew this, right? But I never knew that the end result is to go into Shriners. Very interesting. New World Order, of course. Come on, get into the court system, guys. There we go. Ooh, ha 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 ha. Listen to this. Your duty to country, right? The Masonic oath definitely interfere with the duty to country. The candidate swears, I will keep a worthy brother, Master Mason's secret inviolable when communicated to be received by me as such. Murder and treason accepted? So it's saying they're not going to turn in the other Masons even though they've seen their lies. In the York Rite, they say, I will keep the secrets of a companion royal archmason without exceptions. So the York Rite doesn't even take exception to murder. I mean, you know, the Masonic third degree, they'll accept it of murder and treason. Once you get into the York Rite, they keep all your secrets regardless. They also swear that I will not speak evil of a companion royal archmason behind his back nor before his face, but will appraise him of all approaching danger, if in my power. So not only will they not turn them in nor talk bad about them, but they'll say, well, I'm going to keep you out of danger. So they're coming for you. I'm going to let you know. They promise to employ a companion royal archmason in preference to any person of equal qualifications. An officer of the court who knew of an arrest warrant sworn out against a brother Mason would have to warn him immediately so he could flee the jurisdiction. Wow. A Mason who was told of a brother Mason's crime, even including rape, robbery, or child abuse, would have to keep his knowledge of those crimes a secret, even in a court of law. A royal archmason who knew of a companion Mason's being murdered or a traitor would have to keep his knowledge a secret. A royal archmason would be obligated to hire a companion mason even for sensitive or skilled professions, even if he didn't have nearly the qualifications required. Additionally, many get a fair trial in courts where a Masonic judge presides. A sizable majority of judges are Masons, and many attorneys are Masons as well. If this does not scream, I mean, even just this, we haven't even gone any further. If this does not scream double standard, where the court system and these people working with the court system, they say, hey, we're not going to turn in our brothers. We're going to let them know ahead of time. We're going to never talk out against them, even if we know that they're bad. We're going to let them know ahead of time so they can flee jurisdiction. If this is not conspiracy, then what is? If a Mason appears in court against a non-Mason, all he has to do is give any number of obscure gestures or words to the judge, and the judge will be obligated to rule in his favor. No one in the courtroom will be the wiser, except another Mason, who will be forbidden from bringing the incident to light. If that's not prejudice, I don't know what is. It is easy to see how these elements of oath could be defined to be detrimental to the welfare of our nation. Masons, as it said, take care of their own, and they do to an extent which is frightening. I agree. Part of the danger is the use of symbols and tokens as ritual gestures. Danger comes first from the fact that many of these things are occult, and secondly, they're used to perpetuate a good old boy system of favoritism. It's how they recognize each other. They usually identify themselves by shaking hands, pressure with the thumb on the space between the second and third knuckle. Second and third knuckle is sufficient to identify oneself as a master Mason. When a handshake is not possible, a Mason might approach the bench by 3 upright regular steps, stepping off with your left foot 1 full step and bringing the heel of your right to the hollow of your left foot. Now step off with your right foot and bring the heel of the left to the hollow of your right foot. Then step off with your left foot and bring both heels together. It sounds complicated, but any Masonic officer has done it 1,000 times, can make it look as natural as can be. I was hoping to get a square deal, Your Honor, with just a shade of emphasis on the word square. He could say he's on the level. These phrases are part of normal conversation, but with the right inflection, the other Mason understands. Going to a jewelry store to buy gemstones, I'd say to the manager, I hear I can get a square deal here. He, if he didn't know me to be a Mason personally, might say, I see you're a traveling man. I would reply, I am. I'm travel west to east and from east to west again. He might ask, why did you leave the west and travel to the east? I would respond, in search of that which was lost. That would do it. He would know I was a master Mason. So it's like these codes, these are code words. What they are a, what's it called? In like military, it's code. It's a, I forget the words, but there's, you say one part and then it's a rebuttal and then another challenge. It's a challenge. That's what it is. It's a challenge system. And so World War II, they'd drop in and they'd go red, blue, and they'd say, green sky, or whatever the challenge and the appropriate response is. So these appropriate responses to the traveling man, that's the one of the levels of the Masons. I don't know too much about Masons, but I know the traveling man supposedly is a way to fold a dollar or something like that, and you travel, and as you travel, the Masons are taking care of you, and you can get free drinks, whatever you need as a traveler. Another phrase to be used in extreme situations is the Grand Masonic hailing sign of distress. And I actually know what this is. You know that symbol that you give to police, the I give up. It's the one where you raise both hands above your head. Your arms are extended directly out parallel to the ground. And then there's two parts to your arms, right? The part that's closest to your shoulder extends parallel out, and then at the elbow it extends directly up. So you're making a right angle there, also showing that you're on the level. That's the sign of distress. A Masonic defendant in court might bury his head in his hands at some point and cry, "Oh Lord, my God, is there no help for the widow's son?" Wow, you know what? I have heard that before. Although this is odd to the average listener, it can be understood as a cry of anguish. If a Masonic judge or juror heard it, they would be honor-bound by blood oath to acquit such a person, or at least fight for a hung jury. Wow, talk about a great... You know what? I usually don't cut these things, but I paused this, and I sent this quote here along with the URL to this PDF to a lawyer friend of mine. See what he says. Unfortunately, I asked him if he was a Mason, and then I sent the info after that. Probably should have waited till I got the answer first. Here we go. The gesture which accompanies this is for the person to raise his arms over his head and then lowering them in 3 stages, pivoting the forearms at the elbow until they're perpendicular to the floor, palms down. So it's that I surrender, but you do it 3 times. Any Mason seeing this gesture would be oath-bound to do anything possible to save the Mason from danger, up to but not including the loss of his own life. So just short of you dying, you need to do anything you can to help this person. So the first duty of the Mason is to Masonry, not to the country, not to others, not to citizens, not to the innocent, the non-guilty. Their first duty is to Masonry. So you should definitely be careful when you expect people to be on your side or people to look out for your interests. Okay? Because their first thing to look out for is Masonry. So this is a long video again, just a lot of stuff. Inns of court. I don't even know how to spell that. Inns of court. Okay. Inns of court definition. Actually, wouldn't it be better for Inns of court history? Barrister. Barrister. And that's so funny because it's so close to the name of a barista. Oh, I'm a barrister. I'm a barista. Yeah, barristers are the ones that handle the cases. Pretty simple. Wow, look at that, look at that, look at that, guys. Didn't know really what I was going to find here. Inns of court, we're looking, the history of the Inns of court, look at these two. The Honorable Society of the Inner Temple and the Honorable Society of the Middle Temple. If that doesn't scream Masonic, I don't know what that is. See, Lincoln was 1422. The Inner and Middle Temple, separate society in a yearbook of 1388, with the Gray's Inn being 1569. So if we're going off of the official records, then that means the Inner and Middle Temple are the first one. The Inner Temple expanded during the reigns of James I. Okay, so that's the Scottish James VI. Possibly a black nobility of the Merovingians. Possible. Very, very possible. Very possible. Let's see if I can bring this up for you guys here. So here's James VI. And if you look here, and of course, yes, you see Afro-American Egypt search. But if you look here, Jacobus. See a Jacobite? Is there the lines of the black nobility from the Jacobite? It's just not talked about very much. What? Look at this. Okay, guys, so I was talking about the history of the Inner Temple. They call themselves the Inner Templars. The Templars. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. The Knights Templar and the founding of the Inner Temple. So yes. There we go. Yes, he is right. Our court system, which is the Inns of Court. The Inns of Court come from the Knights Templar, and that's the Inner Temple and Middle Templar, and these are the first two court systems that we have, coming back from the year 1388. Wow. See, I'm learning. I did not know that. I'm learning so much more stuff daily. And that's the way this stuff works. If you're not researching as people give you this info, because I listened to this guy talk about it and went in one ear, out another. And I was like, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. But until you can look and verify something yourself and even find something more, like, okay, yeah, the Knights Templar founded the first Inns of Court that we have the history for. I don't even have to look at the Middle Temple, you know? The Middle Temple is the western part of the temple, the headquarters of the Knights Templar. So the Middle Temple was the headquarters of the Knights Templar. I mean, so that's just absolutely coincidental, is it not? And so if the Masons were the basis, the Masons and the Knights Templar were the basis for this court system, yet the Masonic organizations themselves are set out to undermine the court system. So here we have a system that is run and undermined by the same secret society organization. Ha! Uncovering the evil. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. It's interesting. He talks about, I don't need to go to court. I don't have to go to court. And when I read about it, it was just until only when not, crap, when not being challenged, when unchallenged, right? So the same thing applies for the income tax, the IRS. And supposedly you can get these papers to write and challenge the status and the legality, and that you're not part of this corporation, and that you don't owe the Internal Revenue Service. And that's that. Never done this, but is this some more clues that's possible and true, that you can get out of the IRS tax just by writing them and challenging it? I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it beyond. I'm not saying it's true, but there's evidence of it being possibly true that I see. Amen. I would like to see America free again also. Thanks, guys. What do you think? I know we're at 45 minutes here, another long video. I want to apologize, but this was supposed to be a little 9-minute video, and I was going to just talk about it, but I wanted to really look at these things that I didn't know: the franchise tax, the maritime law that we are under, the capitalized names. Look at the Inns of Court, the Inner Temple, Middle Temple. Wow. If those things themselves do not become a cohesive, worrisome, cohesive thing to worry about, like if you can't put those together and look and say, well, we've got a jacked up system, then I'm wondering your bias. Just look at our court system. Just read about the Masons in the court system. Look at how the court system was designed, who it was designed by. You know, one of my last videos, I talk about the ways that they control, and I said the media, through religion, through science, through social pressure, through the court system. Wow, how did I miss that one? Yes, we're being controlled partially through the court system. There is no doubt about it. I definitely believe it. So, guys, comment down below. What did you think of this? Did you know about any of this? Is this new to you? Do you think this could play into the flat earth theory? I look at it and I see more lies, and I see, hey, here's a method to where they can lie even easier and get away with it. Till next time, you guys judge for yourself, research for yourself, and let's find this truth.